welcome to the channel. My name is Zach. Please like and subscribe to this video and be sure to hit that notification bell to not miss any of my future videos. And let's see if this video can get 15 likes.
Hi there, my name is Zach.
Hello Zach. Hello Zach.
Hello Zecca. Hello Zeki.
Oh my goodness, look at the Bitcoin chart. Not to mention the ZCash chart. It's time to get into this video.
Zach, I'm just making this quick update. We've just had some fireworks. I hope you've been enjoying trading this with us, or I hope you've been in it with us. I know a few of you have, and we're trading the ZCash predominantly, and certainly without leverage, and certainly looking quite rosy, as long as Bitcoin does not soil his britches fully, which he threatens, or which she's threatening to do. But I'm going to make the bullish case for why this is a buy the dip moment. I might make a follow-up video. I might be forced not to make a follow-up video, but I may just get to eat my words subsequently if the britches are soiled in the immediate short term. So let's get straight into this. So first of all, the most bullish case I can make for this point is if we zoom out and look at the Wykoff accumulation that I've been drawing out over the past weeks and months. We have, as we can see on the daily Bitcoin chart, we have now very clearly formed what can be seen as the spring. Now this little shakeout it dropped down to 28,000, I think, was it? Did it get down to 28.8 a few moments ago, or half an hour ago or so, and this certainly can be seen as the spring in a Wykoff accumulation. It will have shaken out a lot of people, and what a price to be accumulating if we are about to head back into this range or even further on. So the first thing is that I think, according as far as the Wykoff accumulation goes. So here we are. Here's the Wykoff schematic that we looked at before. I think you can quite easily see how we have. Let's look at our Bitcoin. Okay, so I think that this looks like a Wykoff accumulation to me. Preliminary support, selling climax, automatic rally or response, secondary test, another secondary test. Here we have phase B with this ranging between the upper and lower boundaries of our accumulation range, and look, here we've gone down today for what we could see is the beginning of phase C and the spring. Now if we look on the Wykoff schematic that I showed you before, we can see it looks pretty much identical. Preliminary support, selling climax, automatic rally, a secondary test in phase B. This is what we've just done, and look how we've just come down to the spring. I mean, honestly, it's uncanny how much, to me, this looks like the exact same thing. Now, as I said before, I think this is a highly automated market, so the algorithms are probably causing this to be so. As well as the fact that this simply is a phenomenon that occurs on all time frames, and this seems to be occurring on the daily time frame. Now what we should really expect is now a little bounce and for us to test, and I would expect this even if we are going to move lower. Ultimately, I would expect that we're going to have a little relief rally to test these two lower parts of the accumulation range, well, just above where we're currently at. And this would tie in nicely with the idea of us coming in for this test, coming back up, testing the lower boundaries of the accumulation range. And and this would qualify as our test before us perhaps moving higher back into the accumulation range to complete the pattern. Now, the other thing that I like, which gives a bit of a point of confidence, is if we have a look at the 2-hour chart. You can see where we are here now. Look at the 2-hour chart now. On the 2-hour chart now, as you can see, we've been trading in the lower part of these Bollinger Bands, and we've tipped down to the very bottom. In fact, we've tipped beneath the lower boundary. But it would make sense for us to, as we seem to have popped back inside the Bollinger Bands, I could imagine that we might be taking a trip north to test the moving average at the moment. That's at 32,500, just thereabouts. Which also, what do you know, marries up with the upper of the two lower points of support in our Wykoff accumulation range. So I think I could quite happily believe that we might be retracing towards 32,500 on Bitcoin. I mean, it already looks like we are. We've popped back up towards 30,000. It looks to me like maybe it could be a bit of a relief rally, and this could ultimately tip over and send us down again. But if we hold the line around about 32,000 subsequent to a little bounce, then I think this would tie in very nicely with the Wykoff accumulation that we've been watching unfold. I also think the other reason that I kind of believe this may be what's going to happen, I know a lot of people are thinking we're getting much lower prices down to, and I was talking about the possibility of us heading towards 20,000 myself, and that can happen, it could happen. But at this point, the reason the things I'm looking at that seem to suggest that we might have found a bottom for the time being, at least, is along with what I've just said. Also, let's look at ZCash. On the ZCash chart, on the ZCash chart, well, this is the USD, ZCash USD. We've currently bottomed out at about $87, maybe a bit higher, which was the previous low from the post. Here we are. Let's get rid of that. From the post, from the 19th of May dump, or just after that, we did tip down to about $87 then as well. So we have completely given back all of these gains, and as we know, ZCash does like to do that. I believe ZCash is looking quite bullish. It's giving us a nice little, let's have a little look, object tree, we want the... I've been talking about this for a while, and at the time the double bottom wasn't quite there, but this is looking pretty promising in terms of ZCash for a nice double bottom, where we've just popped this this lower $87 in, and I could be wishful thinking, but I have been looking at that for a while. It has now materialized. Again, we could go lower. Why would we think perhaps that this is the bottom? Well, I think for another interesting little point of discussion, at least, is that here we are on the 1 hour ZCash Bitcoin pairing. Now, I think we can all understand that, or we should certainly understand that people trading ZEC BTC is, there are a lot less retail traders trading ZEC BTC. It's a pairing which is going to be dominated by a lot of big hodlers and zodlers, people who've been in this industry for a long time, people who've accumulated lots of the Bitcoin and Zcash in the last cycle, and I think it's fair to say that a lot of the people trading the ZEC BTC pairing are probably people who like to anonymize their Bitcoin during their trading, or perhaps when they take profits. Who knows? Or maybe just as good practice. But we definitely don't have the same levels of retail. It's not got this. It's a much smaller market. It doesn't have the same liquidity that the Bitcoin USD or Bitcoin USDT pairings have, and yeah, I did point out this bearish bear flag, or we could say bear flag, bearish. Yeah, I think bear flag, and I pointed this out yesterday with a target of, so we could see here, 0.002942, and as you can see, we have completely come down and bang on tipped down to it. Now we could actually see the same kind of bearish pattern in the ZCash USDT pairing. It didn't quite complete as perfectly as this one. It didn't. I think it was implying a target of $76. Now that could suggest that we've got further to go, but it could also just suggest that the market participants in the Zcash BTC market are just a bit more astute. Perhaps it's easier to manipulate it. Perhaps people know. I've noticed that sometimes, for example, sometimes you can see what's going to happen with Bitcoin almost ahead of time just by watching the movements in the Zcash USD or the Zcash, in the Zcash USDT market, and I think that's because it's a more sophisticated, or perhaps a more sophisticated investor using Zcash, or rather, some of the very big holders of Bitcoin anonymize their wealth using the Zcash blockchain, and so this creates the phenomenon I'm talking about. In any case, we can see that it perfectly came down and met the target from this bear flag, and I think looking at the strength of the bounce here, it's a stronger recovery in the making than we had seen in the and more immediate than in either the Bitcoin USDT pair or the Zcash USDT pair, which again suggests that the people trading this pairing know something that everybody else maybe is a bit slower on the uptake about. So that's another thing, and perhaps a more important thing to look at, which gives us hope that we could be in for a little bit of a recovery in the Bitcoin price and as a result likely the alts, is this Dixie, the dollar index. Now obviously it's not been looking great for Bitcoin, but if we look at the dollar index here, I would say I could almost see that we might be forming on the 1 hour a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern, and let's have a look. There it is. So now, obviously, this is speculative at this juncture. However, if it were to complete, if it were to play out like this, we could imagine the dollar selling off against this basket of other currencies quite significantly, down to sort of 91.22, something like that. And should that happen, well, it's nothing but bullish for Bitcoin, and it looks like it may happen imminently. The other reason, I'm not just kind of plucking this out of thin air, but if we did look at look at the let's get rid of this. It's currently sort of being supported by this EMA ribbon, but if we get rid of the EMA ribbon for a minute, now look on the 1 hour, we can see we can see we've tipped down to test the moving average on the Bollinger Bands there, but it has tipped below. And if it does break the moving average, we would be looking at a target of, again, down 91.8, and that will take us down to complete the right shoulder of this pattern, and then potentially to go on to break to the downside as described. If we look at the what was it, the 2 hour or the half hour? I think the half hour. If we look at the 30-minute chart, we've already broken down. Okay, it looks like in the short term we're going to test back up to this moving average here at 92, but on the 2 hour, which maybe we give a bit more weight to, and this shows a bit more of the overall price direction. On the 2 hour, we have tried to break above the moving average. It looks like we're being rejected from that and potentially moving lower. So if we move lower, this obviously will. If we look at this and we move lower, obviously this gives us the completion to the pattern that we'd like to see. And I kind of think that's looking. Let's see the 3 hour. There we are again. The 3 hour, we're already on our way. On the 3 hour, we're already on our way down. So longer term, the longer we look out, and the MACD's not showing any signs of tipping up on this one. What about on the 1 hour? The MACD's just turning over on the 1 hour, which suggests again that we might be heading down. Can we see any other signs in this that would support this thesis? Well, there's another sign. So look, we have a little bit on the 4 hour. Do we have some divergence? On the 4 hour, we're heading up in price, but at the same time, we are heading down on RSI, and we know what this means. So price action and the RSI are diverging. This is bearish. So I think this is what we need to see to believe that the dollar could be in for a correction against this basket of world currencies, and so I think overall that is pretty good news if you're a hodler or a zodler. Bitcoin, on that basis, I take quite a lot of comfort that this here is indeed the spring. We have put in a bottom, and that we can expect to move towards 32,000 or so. And probably a little test back down, followed by, over the weeks and months perhaps, more ranging between 30 and 40,000. I think this was just shaking everybody out, terrifying the beJeezus out of anyone, ruining people's lives if they were trading with leverage, etc., etc. The other thing that obviously looks fairly bullish for Bitcoin is that over here on SPY, get rid of all this nonsense. Over here on SPY, we are pushing higher for the moment, and this is effectively a risk on trade also. So SPY, we have to say, is inversely correlated to the dollar, to the strength of the dollar, i.e. to Dixie. Bitcoin inversely correlated to Dixie too, and we've just seen over here on Dixie, we've got reasons to believe that this is going to be heading south, and that makes sense if the I don't think I'm the only one drawing this conclusion. If SPY is recovering from its weakness early this week, and Bitcoin now looks like it too could be about to recover from its early week jitters. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to say. I mean, the only disappointing thing is that I I didn't really accumulate as much as I should have. I bought at 90, could have held out for 87. I'm kicking myself, but well, you can't win them all, and you don't need to get. The annoying thing is that I was talking to some of you and saying at the time I'd assessed 88 as the point where I should maybe. I still thought that the price was going to go down, but I imagined we could buy at 88 on ZCash and sell into any relief rally at sort of 100. Or hold on if we saw these kind of things developing. I was saying buy at 88, and then the FOMO gripped me as I saw the price dilly-dallying around 90. I thought, I just blundered in. It should be FOMI, not FOMO. Fear of marauding in, not fear of what is it? Fear of missing out. Anyway, I marauded in at 90, and I'm pretty happy with that. But I do know that a couple of you got in at 80 or 88 or 87. So bravo, well done, you guys, and just goes to show, good stuff. If you listen to Zek, you win. When Zek doesn't listen to Zek, he foamies. I need to FOMI more, FOMO less. Okay, right, listen, so if you wouldn't mind, please hit the like and subscribe, that would be great, and also turn on notifications, and we can carry on trading the whirlwind together. See you next time.